It's me, TJ Kopcha, and I am here to introduce Edit 6150, Introduction to Computer-Based Learning. It's a great class. I love teaching it. It's been gamified, which I think is the coolest part. So I'm about to explain what that means to you, what gamifying a course means. But yeah, it should be interesting and fun for you. And people always end up getting a lot out of the class. So I'm going to drop my video. I just wanted to say hi so you could see my face. And I'm going to explain what the class is, and we will get going. I'll see you in a week. We'll meet in the virtual classroom, most likely. And you can ask questions then. Write them down if you have them. Email me if they're urgent. Otherwise, we will tackle them in a week. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's see here. Oops. There. Yeah, so this is 6150, and that's me, TJ Kopcha. There's my email address. I used to be at Adderhold Hall. I'm not there anymore, but I do still have a blog, and that is the course website. The link to the course website is also in the ELC, which is our eLearning Commons, and I have another video that shows you how to get in the eLearning Commons and get set up with a virtual classroom should you need it. A little bit about me, not too much. I was born and raised in Connecticut. I went to the University of Connecticut. I have 2 degrees from there. I became a math teacher there, and then I got my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I spent 5 years teaching high school and then middle school math, and during that time I just became fascinated with the way technology could be used to really unpack specific math concepts and how accessible they were through the technology when they weren't accessible through pen and paper or just teaching and talking up at the blackboard and that sort of thing. So I went on. I went to Arizona State and to get my PhD in educational technology. I wish that was me riding the mountain bike there, but that is not a picture of me. But I like to believe that that's what I looked like whenever I was doing drops and stuff like that. But I did do a lot of mountain biking. It is where I learned to mountain bike. That was one of the more memorable parts of that, aside from, getting a PhD. So after that, I was offered a job in San Diego State at San Diego State University, and I couldn't say no. It was, we were having this life adventure from being a teacher to getting a PhD, and now to having my first professor gig in San Diego, and it was just amazing. So we moved out there. That is me with my surfboard in that little 2 to 3 foot surf, which at the time was insurmountable and now is laughable. That would be what I would do for fun now, but at the time I just couldn't crack the code of how to surf, which that's a great story for another time. Yeah, and then from San Diego, University of Georgia had a job, and I ended up here. So that's a little bit about me, former math teacher, come professor of educational technology. And if you're wondering, in Georgia, where the heck do you get your little surf fix in? That's where I get my surf fix in. I have a 4-foot skateboard that I bomb the streets of my neighborhood, especially in the fall when the weather gets nice and cool. It's really fun, and the carving on that is as close as I've gotten on land to what it feels like when you're carving in the surf. So yeah. I'm going to want to hear about you the next time we meet, or when we meet in person. So keep that in mind. What would you share with other people in your group? What should they know about you? Maybe a hobby or something interesting about you and your life, either whether it's your life right now or something that you've already done. All right, let's talk about expectations for the course. All right. Does anybody recognize that image? What game that's from? Hopefully you're saying in your head, gosh, that looks a lot like World of Warcraft. And it ought to, because we've gamified the class. We've taken the principles of multiplayer, massively multiplayer online gaming, and we have brought it and funneled it into this course. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that the course is very experience based. In those online multiplayer RPG games, You gain experience. They never decrease, those points. And they represent your achievement over time, and they grow over time. And so as your instructor, I'm going to award you experience. I'm making air quotes right now. And then there's something called advances in those games. And so the loose connection to this class is that these are your character improvements, right? Typically in a video game, though, you get points and you get to spend them on character advancements. In this class, I'm not giving you any points. You're just going to articulate to me what your advancements have been. How has your character grown at certain times in this course? It is definitely mastery focused. One of my favorite movies is The Matrix, the first Matrix. And there's this great part where Neo, who's Keanu Reeves, is he's learning kung fu, and he's trying to pick it up really quickly. And Morpheus says, is testing him, and so there's this great line where Neo says, "I know kung fu," and Morpheus says, "Show me." And that's exactly how you want to think about this class. You're going to say, I know how to integrate clickers into my classroom, and I'm going to say, show me. And you're going to do that until you've mastered that task. So I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to tell you where I think you could improve. If it's critical enough, you won't earn all of your experience, and then you'll go back and you'll try again until you do earn all of your experience, much like in a video game. So from the sounds of it, I hope you're hearing it's very learner-centered, which means the focus is on you. It's learner-centered in a few different ways, not just because it's mastery and experience focused, but you actually have a lot of control over what you do, what path you take, and what you investigate and learn about in the class. So very exciting. The whole class is wrapped around the 4 C's of 21st century learning. So back when I said it was learner-centered, the way we've set the course up, you begin by surveying all 3 of these general educational technology areas: Web 2.0, mobile learning, and educational gaming. And slowly over time, you focus. So in the first task that you're going to complete, you're going to look at all 3 of them. And in the next task, you pick 2 of the 3. And in the next task, you pick 1 of the 3. So you slowly refine this level of expertise in these areas. You start broadly and you refine to expertise in one area. It's all couched in the 4 C's of 21st century learning, which we're also going to learn about as part of this class. Those 4 C's, you can see them here: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. We're going to emphasize those throughout the course. All right, so how does that work? What do you have to do, and what does it look like? Glad you asked. These will be the nuts and bolts of our class. All right, and I'm going to get rid of that because I don't like it. So this is how the class flow works for you. I would start all of my work with the learning plan. I would consult the learning plan and make sure I knew what was going on, when things were due, what was due that week, what I'm supposed to do. All right. And then over to the schedule, which gives us due dates and meeting times, right? And then within the schedule, you're going to see certain tasks are due at a certain time. And that I would read those. I'm going to go over them briefly in class, but I don't cover everything. It's always in your best interest to take a minute and go and look at specifically what each task requires of you. And then finally, the syllabus, right? There are certain things about the syllabus that you want to know about, because that's kind of the terms of the course, like our agreement about what's going to happen and when it's going to happen by, and to what quality and things like that. All right. And so these are the 4 pieces of this class that you're going to be working with, and they're all contained in the class website. And so here's a snapshot of the website. It's on the syllabus right now, but you can see from the website that there's actually quite a few links. There is a learning plan, here are those tasks, and here's the course schedule. And so between those 4 things, that's where you get the essence of what this course is about and what you're expected to do. Notice that there's also portfolios and exemplars that you can look at. You're going to make a portfolio in the class and share it with the rest of the class. And then there are those exemplars, which is, what have other people done that you think is worth talking about, so that I can get an idea of what a quality product is for this class. Let's start with the learning plan here. Let's move on to the learning plan. You just saw the syllabus. And so you can see I've got like a little key right here so you can see where we are in the website. This is the learning plan. And so the way the learning plan works is like this. There are levels, and you can see the level number right here. This is level 1. Right? And there's 4 main categories associated with each level. The first is the 4 C's. And those are things that I want you to read and watch and learn about so that when we come back to class, we can talk about them. The next 3 are not done in class. They're done by you at home. Right? And the next 3 categories, you've got educational gaming, Web 2.0, and mobile technology. And so you can see that for level 1, you need to complete the activities for all 3 topics, gaming, Web 2.0, and mobile. Well, what are the activities? You're going to read and watch what it says to do within the task description. You're going to find 3 more resources for each category, and you're going to write a summary reflection for each category. All right, so that's how you read this learning plan. Before I explain the tasks, I'm going to move through the learning plan and show you. When you move to level 2, there'll be some new things to do for the 4 C's, as well as for those specific trends in educational technology. Except this time, instead of completing it for all 3 trends, you complete it for 2 of the topics. Right? So let's say you're really interested in educational gaming and then mobile technology in the classroom. So you pick those 2 categories. What do? Well, in gaming, you critique and explore educational games. I want 5 to 6 critiques across 2 different areas. So that would be 3 in gaming and then 3 in mobile. And then how do you show me that you've accomplished something? You write a summary reflection and submit it. And again, in level 2, it's only for 2 of the categories so that you can spend more time but be more focused. You're developing your expertise. And then in the 3rd level, you develop even more expertise. You pick 1 of the categories and demonstrate a tool or some kind of a product in that category. I want you to do it in a way that improves on 1 or more of the 4 C's. And I want you to do it in a way that connects to articles, readings that I'll provide for you. Okay? And that will also have, it'll actually have more than a written component to it. There'll be a video component to it where you record yourself demonstrating and explaining how this tool can touch on 1 of the 4 C's and how theoretically as well as empirically that tool might have been looked at in the literature. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry. There is an alternative to the level 3 task. You can summarize 8 to 10 academic articles about technology integration. If you're inclined, maybe you're thinking about moving on to a PhD program, or maybe that just suits you better, and that's totally fine. There are choices here. The one thing I want to point out, though, then there's level 4. And this is where this is the boss level. I like to call it the boss level because, again, we've gamified the class. And so what's the big boss in this gamified course? The big boss is that you're going to develop an idea around a technology and then test it with real learners. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, that's just as good as fighting Bowser in Super Mario Brothers. Maybe not. But yeah, so level 4 is that boss level. And so I've broken it down into steps because it can get really complicated. You start by presenting your idea to everyone in the class. Sometimes there's an opportunity to pair up or even become a group, and that's fine. Other people want to work alone, and that's fine too. It doesn't have to be one specific category because it's so big. It can be multiple categories. You could blend gaming and mobile. You could blend Web 2.0 and mobile. You're going to integrate the 4 C's into it as well. So it's a big challenge, but it's one that I am confident that you will be able to accomplish. Okay? You're going to design, develop, and field test whatever learning activity you end up going with from step A. Then you're going to report out. You're going to create an online presentation or tutorial for the boss level, no more than 10 minutes. Okay? And then you're going to go back, watch 3 others, and leave them some really critical feedback, appropriate critical feedback. So the boss level is big, but it should be because it's a boss level. So check the course schedule for exact due dates and class meeting dates, and then check the tasks. See right there, tasks? Each level has a very full 1 to 2 page description for each set of activities. And I kind of try and just spell it out. It needs to have X, Y, and Z, and if it doesn't, you're not going to earn your experience for that level. So make sure you go and you read each of these as we move through each of the levels. I'm going to start off by showing you one of them in just a minute, okay? 2 other tasks that aren't necessarily apparent. 1, everything that you do in this class, you submit through a Google site. And so to submit, and I've got that in air quotes, you just have to make it publicly available. And on the day it's due, I'm going to go and check and make sure that I can see it. And if I can't, I'll email you. And as long as I can see it, you've submitted it. But I want it to be on a public Google site so that the whole class can see it and other people can see it and see the work that you're doing. Okay? And then I used to have this tech tool kit, which is kind of come and gone. But there are some excellent tools in there that if you haven't tried them, you should. Go ahead and visit the site, the tasks section, to find out which ones. But I don't make a big deal out of them, so if you don't sign up for them right away, I would not be concerned. That is not the schedule for this semester. Let me get the schedule for this semester. Here we go. All right. So yeah, I'm on the website for our class. Here is the course schedule for this semester. And let me see if I can, there, I can frame it a little better. And so here's what we have coming up. We're here in this week, 8:20. Notice it's grayed out because there's no synchronous meeting because we're doing it here right now. I'm just walking you through it with a video. We are going to meet next week, which is the 27th. If you have any questions that come up, there is a discussion board post for you. It's called Ask 3 Before You Ask Me. I want you to use that as your go-to for questions and such throughout the week. That way the whole class can see. Unless it's a private question, then you can email me individually. But yeah, under the due column are all the things that are due. So you can see watching these videos is what's due this week. And then for next week, read the syllabus, take the time to read through everything, look at the tasks, create your online portfolio, and in particular, read and watch the resources for the 4 C's that are found in the level 1 description, which I'm going to take a minute to show you now. Okay. One last thing, where's the textbook? Everything that you read will be online, so there is no textbook. And I do that for a couple of reasons, but one of the most important is that I think it helps stay current, not just with the ideas that are out there, you know, but with the media, the variety of media that we have besides text for communicating the big ideas in computer-based learning and education. So let's have a look at the task for level 1. We've affectionately called it noob because you are, in fact, developing a baseline understanding like a newbie would need to acquire. All right? As you scroll through that task, you're going to see at the very bottom, I have provided a wide variety of resources. One of them is a 50-minute video from PBS about the new learners of the 21st century. I really I cannot tell you how much you do not want to skip that video, even though it's 50 minutes. You will be glued and at the edge of your seat watching that thing. It is amazing. All right. One of the things I want you to consider is that we only meet for about an hour per week, but class is technically a 2.5 to 3 hour class per week. So I'm providing lots of time for you to do stuff outside of class so that we don't have to just sit and stare at each other in a virtual classroom for 3 hours a week. And that's one of those examples. Go watch this video. I could not present better than they present on the ideas about 21st century learning and where schools are going. All right? So please, please, please watch that. And there's some optional resources here. But remember, your level 1 task is not only to do what's these 3 resources that I'm requiring, but go and find 3 more resources and look at them as part of your learning, okay? So the task, again, oh yeah, I just said that. We've generated a basic set of resources for you to begin mastering each of the trends. You watch those, then you go out and you find 2 to 3 additional resources for each topic, and then you create a summary of that. For each topic, except the 4 C's, because we discussed that in class, you don't have to write that one up. For each topic, create a 400-word reflection that reports the following. So you can see I've spelled it out for you here. Summarize the information that you viewed and read. Define the tool you learned about and other important related definitions. Describe how the tool has the potential to change the way we live and learn. All right? So again, just a visual behind this. Even though I'm asking you to do stuff at home for the 4 C's, don't write it up. That's part of our in-class discussion. That's the fuel for the fire, so to speak, for our in-class discussion. The things you do at home are the trends. I mean, the things that you write up and submit for me are the trends. All right? You feel free to take notes while you watch, whatever you're watching. You will see that there is one of these for each trend. There's one for the 4 C's, one for gaming, etc., etc. So you watch the 3 that I have here. I've provided some optionals, but maybe you found something better. 2 to 3 more, and then summarize and reflect. Watch the ones here. You can watch my optionals, or you can pick your own and summarize and reflect. You get the idea. Okay. I wanted to show you an example of someone's. This is from a prior semester. So you can see it's a very brief, a very brief reflection, 400 words. They define the tool, describe the potential for learning, and then they show me which additional resources they used to help come to this conclusion. And they describe these a little bit within their reflection. Okay? Again, if you have questions, save them for class, post them to the discussion board. If they're personal in nature, email me privately. Otherwise, I will see you when class meets for our virtual class session. Take care. Have a great week.